Okay, welcome APUSH students to your second week here of AMI instruction. Just three things that you really need to do this week. It's pretty low key, but a really great chapter. There's some really interesting and important things going on here in chapter 28. So what I've done, I've given you the link to the web, and you should know these. You've done them all year long, but one is to the actual PowerPoint, which of course will look like this. All right, and you guys are all familiar with that. It gives you a link there. And then to the actual video that accompanies it as well. If you want to listen to that and get some additional information. There's a lot going on in this chapter, and it's so incredibly important to today's world that you live in, and that you're about to live in a lot more once you graduate. There's something in there that affects pretty much everybody, anywhere from Vietnam and its effects to the Great Society and its effects, which were most of us being in a poor community, we're living that. And of course, women's rights in there as well. So great chapter, really is. So you'll go through there, you'll take your Cornell notes, nice 30 points right there. Don't go cheap on that. I mean, put some effort into it. Then I would actually do the Great Society next because technically it starts before Vietnam, just by a little bit. So LBJ, he's Kennedy's vice president and becomes president upon Kennedy's assassination, and he's going to push through a lot of Kennedy's reforms that Kennedy had talked about doing. And Kennedy was Kennedy was the romantic and romanticized, and people gravitated towards him and whatnot. But LBJ was a tremendous politician. He was this huge Texan, big guy, 6'4", from down south, but he's a former teacher. And, he grew up poor. And when he became president, as you'll see in the video that goes along with this, he was going to ensure that he was the president of every American and that he was going to try to make a difference. He was a big fan of Franklin Roosevelt, and you'll see a lot of similarities between his Great Society program and the New Deal. There are some differences, and that's one of the things that you'll have to do is discover the similarities and differences between them. This video is short, like 4 minutes, and then you'll click the button, support materials here. Very short essay, background reading, easy. And then a few discussion questions, not many. All right, pretty easy. That's not bad at all. Okay. And your last thing that you'll have to do is watch this Vietnam video. It is good. 45 minutes. Vietnam is such a controversial war in American history. It's one that had a lot of, even though it was fought overseas, had a lot of effects here domestically in the United States. And it's one that we still have a connection to because for you guys, you had grandparents and stuff that fought in it. For me, as a young person growing up, I was still 15 years after Vietnam, but you couldn't shake it. There were so many movies and shows about Vietnam, and there was this concern, of getting drafted and having to go fight in some jungle somewhere because that was what you saw on TV as a young kid. And you see the treatment of veterans in Vietnam as being very different than the treatment of veterans coming back from World War II and even Korea. And, so it really is, when you think of wars in American history, you think of the Civil War and you think of Vietnam as ones that were such controversial ones that had such an impact domestically and stuff. So as you can see, you have to watch the video and provide a minimum of a 3/4 page summary on the contents of it. Should not be hard at all. It's Vietnam. Just show me that you picked up on some of the big issues with it. And then that will be it for this week. All right. And basically we're one chapter away from essentially being done. Okay. All right. That's it. If you got any questions, make sure you contact me. And I will hopefully see more of you this Friday in our Facebook group. Please, some of you may not have Facebook, I understand that, but it would be worth it for a little while to get it and join into the APUSH Facebook group that I've created so that we can have some discussion time on Fridays. Okay, thank you.